My apologies, I had the mic muted by mistake. So let me start again. This is the girl Jen, sister Jenny, Auntie Jen, and if you want to get formal, this is Miss Jennifer Frederick with a edition of, or an edition of. Well, we talk the thing unfiltered. People, the days have changed. Tuesdays and Fridays, 6:30 p.m., and we talking raw. Nobody is gonna get you on skates and green verbs and all kind of thing be all up inside here. And I ain't gonna use obscene language, but yes, I go talk robust language. So people, today is Friday. Let we start the thing one time. No time to waste because I have plenty thing to talk all here. It is right here. It is right here. So we just started formal, right? So the anthem, are patriotic like that. And I'm only patriotic too. And let's listen to our pledge, and please recite the pledge. Know your pledge, please.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
We must all know the pledge. Let the young ones know the pledge is important to get that sense of patriotism. Patriotism is needed more now than ever. So let me start with a blast from our revolutionary past. Although it's not our revolutionary past, it's Grenada, and it's the late Maurice Bishop. People, you all see me like disappear for a minute and a screen and all that and whatever, but don't worry yourself, are right here. So let me just put that video up and please listen.
Reasons and excuses, some of them credible, some utter rubbish. There's an interesting one that we saw very recently in a secret report of the State Department. I want to tell you about that one, so you can reflect on that one. That secret report made this point, that Grenada is different to Cuba and Nicaragua, and the Grenada Revolution is in one sense even worse, I'm using their language, than the Cuban and Nicaraguan revolutions, because the people of Grenada and the leadership of Grenada speaks English and therefore can communicate directly to the people of the United States. But I want to tell you what that same report also said, and said that also made us very dangerous. And that is that the people of Grenada and the leadership of Grenada are predominantly black. They said that 95% of our population is black, and they had a correct statistic. And if we have 95% of predominantly African origin, our country, then we can have a dangerous appeal to 30 million black people in the United States.
So that was the late Maurice Bishop, and you all know or should know the history of Grenada. Grenada right now is revisiting their past, and because they would have been asked, I put it my way because the thing is me talking my thing, to store, I think, military assets from America. The Grenadian people are revisiting their past, and based on that history they have, they are not in support of that happening, and they continue to speak about a policy that we have in the Caribbean, that the Caribbean is a zone of peace. We treat with our issues with diplomacy, conflict resolution, mediation, within the law, and we don't do things that are unlawful because we are law people. Yes, we have our challenges with crime. Those are in-house things in different countries, Caribbean countries. But as a whole, this zone has always been a zone of peace, and the Grenadian people understand that, and they are out there demonstrating peacefully and showing their disapproval of what the US is asking. And as Mr. Maurice Bishop said, deceased Maurice Bishop said, is it because we black and that we could speak English and we could communicate with other blacks that there's a problem? Because there is always this conversation, the Caribbean is a banana republic, and that, you know, we like monkeys and we uneducated and we so foolish. Although a lot of teachers who left Trinidad and Tobago and went and teach abroad have been lauded as excellent and intelligent and that. And our children who grow up primary school and then go up to America, they are always looked at as being really intelligent and that. So is it the need to carry on this conversation about we black and we stupid and we monkey and it's a banana republic and we can't run our own countries and all that? But we are independent countries in the Caribbean, and we are as intelligent as anybody else. We are cosmopolitan, more so in other countries, other Caribbean countries than others. And we have been doing pretty well. We are fairly young nation in terms of CARICOM. I think CARICOM is 50-something years. America is 200 and something years independence they have. And look at the problems they continue to have. We are very young nations. Trinidad and Tobago, 1956 to now. Barbados, their history also. It's not like we have the Caribbean countries are like 100 years old of independence individually. Some is 50, some is 60, and we continue. So we are growing and we have been doing fairly well. Yes, we can do better. We can always do better, but we definitely do not want war in our space. So I want to play you a little song that I heard about Trinidad to show how we are really a blessed country, that we want peace. We don't want war. And again, if all you see me disappear for a minute, is because the background is going to change so that the video can play. So don't be worried, I'm right here.
We don't want no war here, because we born and grow here and we children. I have grandchildren. You're simple as you see me here. Because if you live in and you born and you grow in a peaceful place and you fix your place and you have your children, grandchildren, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, somebody wanna bring their one ever, God will judge that person. The study said that I don't wanna see war, much less to hear about war. We ain't want a world war to come here. Let them keep their war away from here. Me afraid, I say anything, they gonna wait it for them anytime they come here. I'm telling them just to take the war away from here. Not to destroy people, to war we lead. and you're getting to hold the power. You're running place to place. So you is the new warmonger. Thank you very much. And don't wanna leave nobody.
We don't want no war here. This is a zone of peace. Doesn't our prime minister, who is being labeled drunk, doesn't she understand that? But we will get to that. Let me continue. So listen to Grenada's prime minister, because right now he has a decision to make. The citizens of Grenada are marching peacefully against America, putting military assets in Grenada. So he has a decision to make, and I hope he listens to the people who voted for him and don't be swayed. You are a friend of everybody and an enemy of none. You have to know how to be diplomatic in the geopolitical space that we're in. Negotiations, mediation, those are the things, diplomacy. Those are the things that are needed. We want no war. We want no war. We see what happened in Gaza, and we see what happened in Israel, we see what happened in Ukraine and all those countries, and we watching horror. We don't want that down here in the Caribbean. What is so hard for Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC to understand? What is so hard for President Donald Trump to understand? Can't you find another way to treat with the issues? You all want to continue to be labeled bullies? You all do so much humanitarian work. Why not do those type of things? This is a zone of peace. So listen to the Prime Minister of Grenada.
Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell offered no new information on the U.S. request following the adjournment of today's highly anticipated sitting of the House of Representatives. The sitting was adjourned following the revelation that several members of Parliament did not receive documentation pertaining to the bills tabled for discussion. Speaking to GBN, the Prime Minister said internal consideration of the U.S. request continues, and he had hoped to provide context during the sitting.
You know, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had put out a statement which essentially gave the specific details as to what the request was and the fact that we were considering it. And the conversation continues because of the nature of what is requested. So, to a large extent, what I was intending to do is just simply provide some more context on the issue.
According to the Prime Minister, despite existing security cooperation arrangements with the U.S., the question of military cooperation requires extensive consideration.
Specifically, we currently cooperate with the U.S. on a whole range of security issues from a policing point of view. Through the DEA, the ATF, CARICOM impacts, the JRCC, the RSS, all of this is done in conjunction with the U.S., including Southern Command or Coast Guard. So there's ongoing constant policing cooperation within the ambit of or international cooperation within the ambit of Grenada's national security architecture. So that is sort of currently where we are. We even have things like a gun crime intelligence unit that operates within the region that shares intelligence on those issues. Grenada doesn't have a military, obviously, so military cooperation is a completely different species. And to that extent, even the RGPF, obviously, where you may call the police a quasi-military unit, it is not. It is essentially a law enforcement unit. So from that perspective, that's part of the reason why the conversations are ongoing, because this is not a policing request in the context of the normal security policing cooperation that we have.
While a decision is not expected to be announced, the nation waits with bated breath for the Prime Minister's comments at the sitting of the House next Tuesday.
Hopefully, all of the dotting of the I's and the crossing of the T's will be done so that when we get here next Tuesday, I'll be able to do so.
Reporting for GBN News, I am trainee reporter Deidre Seeley.
Yeah, so the Prime Minister of Grenada has also indicated a zone of peace. Caribbean is a zone of peace. There was some activity, I think today, if I'm not mistaken, in Guyana with regards to the opposition leader and I think his son. I really didn't get a chance to take a look at the story. I think he was extradited. I think he and his son. So I'm not calling names because I'm not too certain. So back to the US, and it has to do with a lot of allegations with corruption and etc. So that's something we'll keep our eyes on. We talk the Ting and Bounce Up Central. Also, We know that Jamaica, the aftermath of Melissa, that I think it was a grade 5 category storm or hurricane, one out of the two, and Cuba too would have been affected. I have seen pictures in Jamaica, and Jamaica is devastated. And the Caribbean do what the Caribbean does. We pull together and give support. It's not a recent thing. This has been happening for decades. So I just want you to see a little of the aftermath of Melissa in Jamaica, and I want to send from Louis Talk the Ting Unfiltered and Bounce Up Central, and all those who listen, fans and friends and stuff. We send our love and we send our prayers out to the people of Jamaica and also Cuba as they go through this devastating time, and that we pull together as a Caribbean and show how we treat the things with love, unity, peace, diplomacy, negotiations. We don't treat the things with war and hostility. So this is what it looks like in parts of Jamaica.
Morning. We're seeing a little sunlight since morning. So I'll go into those communities, onto those streets, to bring you coverage on the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa as the day progresses. So it's back to you guys in studio.
Meanwhile, CVM News has been monitoring sections of western Jamaica following yesterday's devastation by Hurricane Melissa. The people of Montego Bay are already attempting to pick up the pieces of their lives as scores of homes were ravaged. When our news team visited sections of the parish early Wednesday morning, efforts were on in earnest by the authorities and locals to clear debris from residences to businesses. The effects indicate a major blow to the tourist hub.
What was the experience last night?
Well, terrible. When I started the roof, lifting up, I went by my neighbor, I understand, because it wasn't safe enough for me to stay. So.
Yes, so that's just a little report coming out of Jamaica there. And I also have something with Mayor Motley of Barbados and the efforts of the Bajan in helping with the issue, well, the devastation after Melissa passed through Jamaica.
At the Caribbean Regional Logistics Hub. It was opened at the start of the hurricane season. At that time, we didn't have many stocks in the warehouse. Right now, what you can see behind me is pretty much a fully stocked warehouse. We've got the supplies off the racks. We're in the process of getting them packed and sent to Jamaica to help people in need. Last night, we loaded our first vessel, which was kindly provided by the European Union and the French. That left Bridgetown Port last night. It was fully loaded with emergency relief items such as tarpaulins, hygiene kits, household kits, tarps, as well as kitchen sets and education kits as well. We have been working with UNICEF, IOM, PAHO, the Government of Barbados, the Department of Emergency Management. We've been working throughout the night, working round the clock for over a week now in preparation for this moment. The hub has been an amazing asset to have. We didn't have this in operation fully last year, and we're really able to see the benefits of having these relief items in the Caribbean, being able to spring into action whenever we need to. Tomorrow we have another vessel that will load, that will come from the government of the Netherlands. We will have supplies from Barbados's Department of Emergency Management. We'll have containers on board as well for PAHO, UNICEF, Shelterbox. And we've been working hand in hand with SEDIMA over the last several years to really increase our preparedness. And this is really allowing us to move at a moment's notice. We're working hand in hand with all elements of government, Barbados Port, with customs. Everybody has been really stepping up to make it happen so that we have no delay in reaching those people who have been most affected by Hurricane Melissa.
We think it really reflects the foresight and also lessons that had emerged from the COVID era, where we recognized that we needed to have stocks and essential supplies much closer to the places where the hazards actually happen. and we were able to react very promptly, in fact, proactively, with respect to Hurricane Melissa, being able to receive the anticipatory needs lists from the countries really assisted as well, so that we were clear on the specific items that countries would require. We are, of course, very focused on supporting the people of Jamaica who have been affected. We noted yesterday that the numbers of displaced persons had reached over 7,000, and we anticipate that this is going to increase. And with the displacement, of course, it means that there's a responsibility of the government of Jamaica to make sure that persons have adequate shelter, but also adequate food and water. So we're really pleased to work with the World Food Program on this, to support with the food kits which are being prepared and shipped to Jamaica. SEDIMA, of course, has been supporting all of our states, and we've worked with Bahamas as well on the aspect of the evacuation of the vulnerable islands in the southeastern Bahamas. We activated 2 of our memorandum of understanding with Inter-Caribbean and also Sunrise Airways to ensure that those evacuations were completed within a day, and all persons who wished to be evacuated were successfully evacuated, and we really want to thank those partners. I want to acknowledge the support of the European Union, the governments of France and the Netherlands, who have supported with the provision of the transportation in this first instance, and we're going to be working with many other partners to ensure that all of this support from the people of the Caribbean is able to reach Jamaica in a timely manner.
On Tuesday afternoon, I left Barbados, and at the time that I left, Hurricane Melissa was beginning to bear down on Jamaica. I returned this afternoon from Paris, where we were talking and celebrating the 10 years since the Paris Agreement on the climate crisis. Regrettably, there could be no more relevant backdrop, unfortunately, to the importance of why it is for us to fight for the Caribbean Sea not warming to the extent to which it has been warming, than what Melissa was able, regrettably, to do to Jamaica, to Eastern Cuba, to Haiti. I'm now being told minimal damage in Bahamas, and we await to see where else it goes. I give this context because we came immediately straight here on landing to the World Food Hub program center here at Grantley Adams Airport, which we opened at the beginning of the hurricane season, as you heard. This has made a major difference to us being able to get supplies to Caribbean countries in a shorter period of time than if we were simply relying on outside of the region or from Panama, both in terms of maritime and air. You've already heard that the French ship took down supplies yesterday, and that we expect tomorrow a Dutch Navy ship to also take down supplies. The Department of Emergency Management in Barbados has already provided 2 containers of tarpaulins, cots, and emergency generators. And in addition to the 5,000 food kits that the World Food Program is sending down, you would have heard Liz Sedima talk about 7,000 people so far displaced and in shelters and likely to rise. We in the government will also supplement that by another 5,000 kits, which we hope to send down by, along with the ones from the World Food Program. Those food hampers, food boxes, food kits, whatever you want to call them, effectively provide dry foods and tin foods for a week for a family of 3. So that we really do believe that this can help. I just spoke to Prime Minister Holness, who reinforced the need for urgent support with respect to either food, monetary donations, or emergency logistical supplies, as we're doing with the tarpaulins and the cots and the generators. I have already received calls from a number of persons across the country, and they have all indicated that they would want to be part of the effort. We're going to make sure that the DEM announces tomorrow how you as ordinary Bajans can continue to supplement what the government is doing, what the World Food Program and other international partners are doing. I think that anyone who has seen the photographs out of Jamaica will know that Western Jamaica looks almost as if a bomb has hit it. And I have the unfortunate recollection, as I've said publicly already, of being in Jamaica for the last worst hurricane that they had, which was Gilbert. I know what it is to stand up the day after the hurricane and to try to access food that was being rationed. And we walked away after 2.5 hours with 8 batteries, 6 candles, and 2 packs of sweet biscuits for the family that I was staying with. So that tells you how dire it is for those who are acutely and painfully affected by reason of this. It has not helped that St. Elizabeth is the major area for agricultural production in Jamaica, and therefore that has been destroyed. It has not helped that initially the hurricane was going towards the middle of the island, and therefore the buy-in across the country would obviously have been intense. So whatever we can do by supplementing from here in the short term, we should do. The list of items will be provided, because as much as people are interested in giving any and everything, it makes sense for us to focus on those things that will really have a lasting benefit to help as many people as possible. And some of these things will equally have to be sanitary items in addition to the food, because a man and a woman don't feel like a man and a woman if they can't brush their teeth, if they can't use the bathrooms properly, if they can't have soap and those different types of things. So look, I keep saying there, but for the grace of God goes I. And I really want to thank our regional and international partners. I'm also very grateful for the stance taken by the Minister from Bahamas, who is also chair of the Council of Sedima, who has said, look, even though they have been hit in the bottom, everybody realizes that the scale of the damage, firstly in Jamaica, seems to be in eastern Cuba, but we're waiting further details. And of course, we've heard of some of the horror stories in Haiti already, with the riverbanks bursting and over 25 people dying there. In those cases in Haiti, we're advised by the World Food Program, monetary donations are better, because they will seek then to be able to supply within the country itself. And within the situation with Cuba, we will certainly step up to the plate, but we're hoping to get more information before we can give more accurate details as to what is needed there, in a way that I'm able to give with Jamaica, having spoken to Prime Minister Holness just a few minutes ago. So I'm asking Barbadians, we will clearly set up a bank account, as we do in the past before, and we will also set up arrangements and details that DEM will announce tomorrow as to where you, if you don't want to give money, but you want to buy the items that we have on the list and that you want to be able to deliver them, then we will let you know where those can be delivered as well.
All right. There's a reason why I played the whole video. I wanted you all to understand the devastation that is in Jamaica, and that is a natural disaster. And the way the Caribbean countries have responded. Now imagine if that was war. We know nothing about that. We know about hurricane, we know about earthquakes, and we know about we little squabble between us as Caribbean countries, flying fish, Essequibo, and we know that. We don't know anything about war, the scale of one devastation. Already, how much persons have been displaced up to now in Jamaica? 7,000, that's what they said. That means they have no homes. They have nothing. Nothing. They don't have a toothbrush, they don't have soap to bathe, they don't have water, they don't have anything. You heard what the Prime Minister Miyamati said the last time at Gilbert, she was there and she was staying with her family, and they stayed 2 hours in a line to get ration food, and you hear what they get. And that was just a natural disaster. Imagine a war. Imagine a war started in Venezuela and we in the middle of the whole thing. We're not able with that. Look, just today, people start to panic. All this stuff at tuna, man, stop feeding into this hysteria and this fear. Or they send home school children early today. Somebody put that, making it seem that, okay, it's connected to the fact that they call in all the army and all the security services and have them, we call them down in Tetron and wherever, and all them kind of thing. And then they come on board, or they start to evacuate people from the US Embassy. And people put that together and put they drop a bomb in Venezuela, all that. Do you know how those things could affect people. We came through COVID-19, you know, which was a emotional and disconnecting time in our history. You couldn't connect with families. You could call them on the phone. You couldn't go anywhere. You was at home. The government, the PNM government, make sure that people were getting food to eat, make sure that their salaries was in the bank as public officers. It wasn't working, and things were working. We were even praised by the World Health Organization at the end of the day for how the PNM government handled the COVID-19, despite the fact that this present UNC in opposition, take the government to court how much times for trying to save lives. Countries all over the world lost hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, we lost loved ones, but it wasn't to the magnitude that was happening in those big developed countries like America and Italy and that. I'm saying all that, I say we came through that, which was devastating in its own. We have hurricanes happening, earthquakes happening, and now we saddled with a prime minister who wants to lead Trinidad and Tobago into a war. And then people, they have this anxiety, this excitement about war. Well, you understand what is war? Look what happened in Jamaica with a hurricane. All you know it is a war that will displace people in the Caribbean, change the face of the Caribbean. What future will be leaving for our children, all your children, all your grandchildren, all your nieces and nephews? Think about that. This is not joke. This is not fun and games. That is why they keep saying the Caribbean is a zone of peace and let us deal with our issues of diplomacy, not arrogance and aggression. We're not about that. Look how we responding to what happened in Jamaica. Listen to Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the drunk, racist prime minister, in my opinion, her response after talking about conversation about CARICOM, I put it my way, it's a waste of time and like she want to pull away and have a different foreign policy. After all of that, you want to talk about Jamaica, it's like your home and it's sending things. Miss Lady, you're not doing nothing new. That is a foreign policy of the government, successive governments to help. You ain't doing nothing new. And you doing that and making people love you. I see some people talking about, oh, Auntie Cam's coming to help. And she has a save face. That's what she doing. Because when Dominica had their natural disaster, and Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley said, anybody who have Dominican family and want to bring them across at a thing, then kick up against it. That same Kamla Prasad Bisesa told Jamaica that we's not an ATM machine. And because of that, Jamaica started to pull off all we goods off the shelf. And they're talking about CARICOM and this and that. If CARICOM and buy we goods here, the local manufacturing sector will collapse. Jamaica buys millions of dollars in our products, cereals and other things. And it have other Caribbean countries that buy local manufacturing products. So when you get on like that, as if CARICOM don't matter, and we could stand and we go get other markets. Where the other markets? All ain't got no markets yet. It's the markets we have is where we getting money from now. All they want to distance all themselves from it. And now talking this kind of about Jamaica and my family and whatever. Where you send them to Jamaica, Miss Lady, I'm naming you again, a drunk, racist prime minister who want war in this place so that our children and grandchildren have a future. That's my opinion. I'm saying that based on things I'm reading and evidence of things I'm seeing. You're operating as if we're an island by we own. And now, to me, it looked like you is a woman who know about abuse. So beat me, kick me, cuff me, and then tell me I love you. You love me. And then everything all right. You sound like you is a woman who know about abuse. Your song's abusive. So listen to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Then you have
Yeah, a photo up. Me and Motley was talking, she didn't study no camera, nothing. She bringing the report and saying what Barbados doing and who partnered with them, France and this and that. This one is a photo up. You didn't even hear what they're saying. She did pointing and thing. This is a photo up. I want to tell the UNC government or Kamala Prasad Bissetta, who they calling all over the world are drunk. I put in racist because of what happened with the CPEP workers and URP workers and all them workers who get fired and sent home and the money they give to the Port of Spain Corporation. Trinidad and Tobago has a long-standing practice of consistently providing significant assistance to other CARICOM countries in the aftermath of natural disasters, a practice that has continued for decades. This support is considered a guiding principle of Trinidad and Tobago government's foreign policy, driven by a spirit of regional solidarity, compassion, and the understanding that Caribbean nations are a single family. Immediate relief supplies, just given an example, TNT frequently mobilizes national effort to collect and dispatch essential humanitarian aid, including food items, bottled water, medical supplies, hardware, bedding, and generators, as seen in recent response to Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. Financial aid. The government has provided direct financial contributions such as US $1 million to immediate relief provided to Haiti after the 2010 earthquake and US 500,000 pledged to the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian in 2019. Manpower and technical resources. Trinidad and Tobago often sends technical experts and Defense Force personnel to assist with the recovery effort. For Hurricane Dorian, 100-strong contingent of troops, medics, and engineers was deployed to the Bahamas for 30 days. TNTEC and WASA technicians have also been on standby to assist with utility restoration in other countries. Logistical support. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, ODPM, and the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, TTDF, work in coordination with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA. Did you hear Prime Minister Mayor Motley mention CDEMA? To provide aerial reconnaissance and logistical support for the shipment of goods to affected islands. Long-term preparedness. Trinidad and Tobago participates in regional initiatives like the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, that is the CDEMA, and the Caribbean Climate Online Risk and Adaptation Tool, CCORAL, to enhance regional reliance and preparedness. This consistent aid highlights Trinidad and Tobago recognition of the shared vulnerability of small island developing states, SIDS, to the impact of climate change and natural hazard. So when they're walking on things, like if it's something new and the influencers on in thing, oh, Auntie Cams, she will, you see, look, she helping them ever. There's a policy, a foreign policy of Trinidad and Tobago for decades. She ain't doing nothing new. This is what happened when Grenada had their natural disaster. I'm just waiting for it to load. This was in 2024, last year. TNTEC, this was in the Guardian. TNTEC crew in Grenada on a 1-month stint to restore power. 22 TNTEC workers are now on the ground in Grenada, helping to rebuild the island's electrical infrastructure following the passage of Hurricane Beryl. They will remain there for 1 month as they reinstall poles and breakers in an attempt to restore full power to the island. The team of 18 workers flew from Piaco International Airport on Sunday after they were met by Minister of Public Utilities, Marvin Gonzalez. A team of 4 supervisors have left earlier with trucks and other equipment. Gonzalez thanked the men for their service, but lamented that trips like these may become more commonplace given the perils of climate change. The issue of climate change, gentlemen, is very real. Gonzalez said while addressing the contingent, who was decked in bright yellow TNTech polos with their nickname emblazoned on the back. We went to Grenada for that. TNTech was there. Listen to this. Manning, deceased Mr. Manning. Manning flies out to help. This was in 2010, the 16th of the first month. Prime Minister Patrick Manning will fly out to the Dominican Republic next door to Haiti tomorrow to meet European Union leaders and other CARICOM heads to discuss how earthquake-stricken Haiti can be helped, and that Trinidad and Tobago government has not rushed Defense Force personnel and CPEP workers ahead to assist Haiti as it did when Hurricane Ivan devastated Grenada, because Haiti is in the North Caribbean. National Security Minister Martin Joseph made this clear at a news conference yesterday, which outlined how Trinidad and Tobago will be assisting. He said Jamaica is in charge of the CARICOM disaster relief response for the North Caribbean, and that explains why things are now. That explains why there are now 200 Jamaican Defense Force soldiers on the ground in Haiti. That was in 2010. They mentioned CPEP workers and TNTech workers, but they said because Jamaica was in charge of that northern part of the Caribbean, that they were taking charge in that. Eddie Hart, 2004. Eddie Hart, that was in Newsday. Eddie Hart praises CPEP workers, member for Tonopuna. Eddie Hart has praised CPEP workers for the way they carried out their duties in his constituency, at the same time while addressing workers who belong to the debut gang. Hart urged them to continue the good work in the environment, to clean up, to beautify, to enhance, and to hold in trust for many generations to come. It is either we accept that responsibility as a covenant to the future, or wallow forever in a cesspool of filth in which life itself can quickly become unattainable, he said. Hart told the large audience at the Center Excellent last Saturday night that a changing world, jobs are no longer guaranteed for life. People have to think now about creating their own means of living, and that is what CPEP is about. A whole new work culture has been instilled. It is a new work culture that shall leave behind the old European mentality for good, because CPEP program seeks to make each and everyone responsible citizen of TNT. He advised workers who are employed by the contractors, and he went on to talk about it, but he thanked them. He praised them for the work they're doing, because these are people that go out to where Caribbean countries have disasters, workmen, women, laborers, and all that. That is what they do. And come up a service after this wicked, drunk, racist prime minister, in my opinion. The first thing they do is send them over 10,500 CPEP workers and talking about that corruption and with contract and that. The CPEP workers who working was cleaning the place and going Grenada all over. Them ain't no contractors. So deal with the contractors and let CPEP company continue to pay them, because they were employees of CPEP. And all they want to know why I call them she wicked and racist and evil and all these words, because that is what it appears like. Anybody know if they train and them CPEP workers going to school? Anybody know if they're eating? Anybody know how the homes are? If it have an increase in domestic abuse? If it have an increase in child abuse? If it have an increase in mental illness? If it have an increase in people trying to harm themselves? All you know what's going on with these people? Port of Spain will be like a ghost town now. It's CPEP workers and those workers in the lower economic branch. It's them used to be spending money every day, every weekend, every fortnight. Money hustling and selling, that's how it is. Street vendors, is them going there and biting hand. Nothing now. Nothing. Let me continue, yes? I want to let you listen to this. This is a comprehensive report from something James. He's one of them James and them in Tobago. Listen carefully. I want to let the listeners are going to play the whole video. It is important.
Or was getting 4.03, sorry, until Keith Rowley came in, and we have to be fair and honest here. I'm not telling no lies on nobody here. Only when Keith Rowley came in, Tobago had a slight increase from 4.03 in the first year to 4.04 and 4.4. Dr. Rowley did that. This allocation here now is the biggest to the TCH, not to Tobago. Let's not carry on any lies here. The biggest allocation to Tobago, 5%. But here the thing, the context has changed completely. Because this final report here that I have here, it was vetted and concluded and arranged by a joint select committee. I'm going to read out the members of the joint select committee here. A joint select committee of the PNM and the UNC. And you had 2 independent senators. There was no dissenting voice. This product here is a product of the UNC, the PNM, and the independent senators. A product of the UNC. The same UNC, when it came now to a vote in the lower house, the same UNC, on the advice, the trickery of Farley Augustine, of Farley, that traitor named Farley Augustine, that absolute conman and traitor, called the parliament, called his UNC friends, moments before the sitting. He wasted 3 years in the House Assembly, did nothing, no legislative agenda, just total waste in the House Assembly. And wait until a few moments before the sitting to pass this bill, to inform Kamala and them down there that he doesn't want this bill. And it's not that he doesn't want the bill, really. No. The reason for that is because he felt that an election would have followed, and he prefers to secure a full term. So he said he wants 9 more months. But here where he passed up, here what Tobago law sought on, the opportunity to make laws and to properly position ourselves. And 6.8% minimum to the TCH. Let's not confuse it. 6.8 minimum dollars, 6.8%. Now last year budget, mind you, last year budget, overall budget, was 59 billion also. $741 million. Man, actually go and check it. Last year, what they call national, I don't call it national because I'm not part of that nation. Trinidad and Tobago is not a nation. And I move away from that psychology of war. So here what happened? And we have to expose Farley Augustine for what he really is. We have to tell the truth on him. He represented himself just like he did in the voice note. They're going to spread propaganda and all of these things to manipulate through witchcraft the people of Tobago. So here what happened? He rejected the bill. 6.8%. He must have known, because he must know as a politician, last year's budget was $59,741 million. Based on that, if you work out 6.8% of that figure, and all the budgets lately been coming around wrong there, you will get in excess of $4 billion. In fact, I wrote the figures here. Right? You'll have been getting in excess of $4 billion. This year, the budget is 59.232. And so that you'd have been getting this year $4,027,776,000. That's the truth. This is no make-up story. And so that was the projection. Anybody with sense, any sensible, reasonable politician. So he claiming now, falsely, that, well, they didn't define the boundary, and as I told you, you could only have one sovereign government in one constitution. It's of no use. You define Tobago according to international law, in the Constitution is a moot point, really. It can go nowhere because in the same proposals that went down, and he contributed by sitting before the Joint Select Committee, he never raised these issues. Never raised these issues. Never. So that, sorry. He sat before the Joint Select Committee, never raised those issues, and pretending now they didn't talk about federation and how Tobagonians were equality of status. Tobago and Trinidad cannot be equal in the same constitution. Cannot. Work it out. But did he propose anything to make it equal? No. Just rhetoric. Just rhetoric. Tobago and Trinidad. So they talk about equality of status. That is what the UNC man said in the parliament down there. So they're going to strike down the bill. And the very bill that they authored, they co-authored and agreed to in the Joint Select Committee, they came now on the morning of the debate, moments before the sitting. And in so doing, they must have known also, they took away from the people of Tobago $1,066,176,000. This is the kind of politics. This bill took nothing away from Tobago. It took nothing away from Tobago. No, my good friend from Charleville trying to approach me on Facebook there and tell me that we would have been in a worse position. So I did my research, not that I needed to, because I know orphan. So I went and I studied this bill today, and it's written here in this bill, the report from the Joint Select Committee, that Tobago's, the TCH, not Tobago, the TCH's control extended from 6 miles from Act 40 of 1996 in the TCH to 11 miles, 11 nautical miles from the low water mark seaward. So in this one, Tobago has the TCH control I'm talking about. TCH control has extended to 11 miles from 6 miles. Yet she is telling me we would have been in a worse position. We are now making law, could have been making laws. She said no, we'd have been in a worse position. This is the kind of mental warpness that is going on in Tobago. That's the thing with belief system. When you see you like somebody and you're supporting something, you could support it to your own detriment, you know. It's like a person grew up in a denomination and a religion, and everything the denomination and religion does, it is right. Even though the truth is somewhere else, it is right. But all of that really is to survive. Because I tell you now, political office in Tobago has now turned into a hustle. That's what it is. It has turned into a hustle.
Sorry if the stage was blank for a while. Don't worry, I'm right here. I hope all you understand what it is that Mr. James said. Basically saying, Fally sabotage the Tobago Autonomy Bill when last minute, when they was going to debate it under Dr. Keith Christopher to get them what they want, he did send some text message or something with all kind of different changes and all kind of thing, and that was the end of that. I just always say man like Fally and them, in my opinion, because they don't stand for nothing. They could get brush easy. I say it again, in my opinion, men like Fally and them who don't stand for nothing. They have no scruples, no ethics, no morals, nothing. They could get brush easy. So listen to this young lady from Tobago. Just give me a minute to get to her.
Guys, let's take a break from all the rumors of war and let's go back to something that I met in. You all remember when our present government came into office and they would have terminated all these workers in URP, CPEP, forestry, all these workers. You know what's the original thing that they were saying? Let me jog your memory here. They were saying that all these workers were going to get rehired. And it was only a matter of time. They were claiming that they just wanted to get rid of corruption and they just want to get rid of all the fraudulent contractors and get rid of all the ghost gangs, and the workers would be reabsorbed under new contractors and whatnot. That was what they were saying, and the supporters was defending that. Don't worry, this has happened all the time, quote unquote. Fast forward to now, it's not a case where it's the usual. It's a case where they are totally intending to disband these programs. So the tune changed from don't worry, the workers safe to no more of these programs. And here's the tune. The tune now is don't worry, we're disbanding these programs, but we're offering real employment, full-time employment for these persons. So we have a national recruitment drive going about. And the real question is, are the persons who would ordinarily work CPEP and URP and forestry eligible for these jobs that are being offered in this recruitment drive? And is it a case where even some get a job? All of them certainly would not. So here's my next question. Who is cutting the grass? Because I ain't see grass cuts in advertising. So my question is, who is going to maintain our scenery and green spaces? So let me this. I have a hypothesis. I have a theory. Bubble could never done. Let me tell you what is the intention. Disband these social programs intended to help the poor, the lesser fortunate, and provide unemployment relief. Disband these programs to, do what? Contract their people, their big boys, to cut the grass. That's what can happen. Privatization. So everybody asking who's going to cut the grass now. So disband these programs to give some company that responsibility. And yeah, that company gonna hire 1-2 people. Yeah, you'll get real employment. But the mass firing that went on the other day would not be resolved. Only watch and see how things playing out. As you raise that issue, they have an excuse. But as time plays out, you realize it's lies upon lies upon lies. And as Plumpy Mother had said, why they didn't tell the people on the campaign trail that they were intending to do this? Like, listen, PNM told all of them was going to do this, But they wasn't listening. They always intended to do this. But then if they said it on the campaign trail, they would lose some support, because the reality is some of the people that voted for them, if not a lot of the people that voted for them, belong to these programs. You understand? Or you overstand? But they're smarter than that. So they keep feeding lies and thieving out all ahead. And yes, man, we offering real employment. Well, I will be following up on this story as time progresses. I want to know if the people who were fired are actually getting jobs under this new recruitment drive. Will you fill me in? Let me know. If all they're getting jobs, I'm glad, I'm real glad. I would like to know. I would also like to know who would be cutting the grass, because the place is inundated with grass. The grass is overgrown. It's untidy. It's messy. Thank God Tobago handling things under a different order.
Right? Listen to some CPAP workers here. These is real people. Real people. Real people who they say was ghosts. And they go get back work and they reassign people now. That was just to get people data. That exercise they have how much 100,000 or whatever 10,000. That was just to get young people data. So when it's time for election, they're gonna be calling and harassing these people. They're not gonna get no job. Listen to the real people who are affected when they send home over 10,000 CPF workers.
Just put back all them contract and everything, everybody happy. One side can be happy and the next side what?
And if they find it so
what are we looking?
If they find
How quick you all could get people to work in something, do something. If it is make up something again on the roadside to clean, just to bring that little money. Christmas coming just now. Trenders feel without a gift, without a toy, it could still pass a smile on a child's face. It could still buy a ham for $100. It might get 2 hams somewhere. So it's just to get a little money coming in. Yeah.
Nothing for them. And all the ones about anti-cams and love. She don't love nobody. She definitely love African people. She wants African people to be slaves in this country. She want them to be prostitutes. in this country. That way she want them to be, because somehow she feels she's better than African people. That's my opinion I give in. She feel, in my opinion, under the white is an Indian people, and then after African people to the bottom of it. That's slavery thing, that colonial thinking. And you have to ask yourself whether or not this prime minister is mentally ill. Because everybody wanted to know if they see Dr. Rowley put a scarf around his neck in Parliament. They want to know what's going on with him. If he going to do medical, he had to come back and say everything with the medical. It's at the time he went to West Shore and some medical person that give out all the man information and all kind of thing. But nobody know what's wrong with Kamala Prasad, sister. Suppose she's mentally ill because it is alleged that she's a drunk. In fact, everybody's saying it now. She says she's a diabetic. And it is alleged she's a chain smoker. She's a smoker. So when you mix all three of them together, if it's true, with she age, them things that affect your kidney. Suppose this woman when, I ain't saying nothing wrong with nobody when depends. People go through stages in their life and different things, so I mean no disrespect. I'm talking in a context here. Suppose it's one of the reasons why she can't be in Parliament is because she have inconsistence or incontinence or some kind of she kidney going malfunctioning and thing because of diabetes and the drinking alcohol and all them kind of thing. Who knows? And long-term drinking does affect your cognition. It does start to kill off your brain cells. Who knows if this woman, who is the doctor seen by this woman? We're supposed to know the health of this woman who's the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, because all you always wanted to know everybody. All you wanted to know Mr. Manning, all he health. All you wanted to know Dr. Rowley health. Why all you tell me about the health of this woman? This woman is not making decisions that is in the interest of the development of this country and for the interest of the future young people and children coming. Like real people there. They want to talk about ghosts. Let me tell all of this before I read the story. Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. Before the UNC come in, first time in history, they made the Youth Affairs a whole ministry. So it was ministry under Dr. Rowley. It was Ministry of Youth Development and National Services. And we know the kind of work come out from there for young people. UNC come in April 28, 2025, and they changed it back under bad man and nastiness, in my opinion, because in my opinion, there's some personal grudge and personal vendetta, in my opinion, against this minister and the former minister. They changed back the ministry to Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. Let me tell you something. I want to talk about goals. The ministry is not recognized by the IRS system. The ministry not recognized. Where everybody data is and things so that they could get paid when the man come. It's not recognized. They have us to make up pay sheet manually in the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs because that ministry don't exist. That not goes. So they go fire people from there just now because that goes if that ministry not recognized. Let me read what the IRS system is. If that ministry not recognized and that to do a thing manually. But what the hell I hear in here? That goes. Here what the IRS system is, all who for the public service will understand, but people who are in the public service may not. So here what the IRS system is. In Trinidad and Tobago, IRIS refers to the Integrated Human Resource Information System, a management tool used by the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, GORTT. It is a system of managing the human resources of the public service, including payroll, employee information, and other HR processes. How the system functions. Employees self-service ESS, a key component of the IHRIS system, is its employee self-service ESS portal. This allows government employees to register and access certain HR-related information online. Administrative function. The system is also used by the Human Resource Management Division of various ministries to manage and maintain employee data. This includes processing employee transaction like promotion, transfer, and retirement. Powered by PeopleSoft. The IHRIS is built on the PeopleSoft application, which manages the human resource modules for government projects, connection to other government services. While IHRIS manages internal public service HR matters, the public access a different platform called TT Connect for other government services, such as tax filing, etc. Right? It go on. That is what the IHRIS is. So it means to say the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs are not connected to nothing. They don't know their retirement, their promotion, nothing. Because this ministry is not recognized by the system. The ministry that is recognized by the IHRIS system is the Ministry of Youth Development and National Services. So then that ministry is a ghost. And that's a manually make up pay sheet. If we want the IHRIS system, they don't have to manually make up people pay sheet. Let me tell you, they take the workers in the ministry down to the wire for salary. Usually is the workers in First Citizen Bank just get their money first because that's the government bank, and then after people in other bank with public welfare. You know, this month, everybody got a salary yesterday. It didn't have no First Citizen because they had to rush it down because they knew. In my opinion, if people didn't get paid yesterday and they leave it to today, they could have faced legal challenges because it is in legislation. It is in regulation when workers must get paid. Let me get it. I don't just talk because I feel to talk, you know. I don't just talk because I feel to talk, you know. I just get my receipt. Section 39(1) of the Civil Service Act. Salaries shall be paid on the day previous to the last full business day of the month. Shall, not should, and could, and would, or may. Salaries shall be paid the day previous to the last full business day of the month. When, however, the last business day falls on a Saturday or a Monday, payment or salary shall be made on the preceding Thursday or Friday, respectively. 2, the permanent secretaries in the Ministry of Finance may vary the date of payment of salary on earlier dates whenever it appears to him or her the expediency to do so. So salaries shall be paid the last working day before month end, which was yesterday. Anytime they go to today, people cannot take them to court because this is in law. And if there's a holiday and it falls on a Friday, Saturday here, they could pay the week before. So in Christmas, you don't get paid after Christmas, they get the week before. All them things is written in legislation. So let me tell you, the Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs, in my opinion, is a ghost. It don't exist. So let me continue. So I always like to read articles by one Mr. Dehani and also Mr. Lennox. Let me get it, where the thing going? Lennox Shamshoy. So by now, everybody know Kamala Persad, the drunk, racist, in my opinion, Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago, has been declared persona non grata. I hear she's saying, I put it my way, basically she do business and she not those words, but that's what I turn it out to mean, that she don't care, but she lied. That's my opinion, she lied. As a woman, you ain't want no picture dragging all over and everybody talking about you and all that. You don't feel comfortable with that. And that was going on right now. I comment to that. So let me read what Lena. So she has been declared persona non grata in Venezuela. They went to the parliament and I would just call it. They had to name and they talk about it and pull it up and all kind of thing. And talk about drunk and when she gets sober and all kind of thing. This is embarrassing. That's never happened before in the history of this country. Mr. Pandey, we think you never hear in outside regional talk nothing about it, no drunkard. You never hear that when Mr. Manning, Mr. God rest his soul, George Chambers, Anna Robinson, Dr. Eric the Great, Eustace Williams. You never hear that with Mr. Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. But the world now talking about the Prime Minister Trinidad and Tobago come up as a drunk. So let me read what Lennox Sham showed, right? He said, when Venezuela declares you persona non grata, it is like Kobo, SHIT on you. I am convinced that Kamala ignorance is more infinite than the universe, saying that the persona non grata declaration is useless. And so why would they think I would want to go there? She's missing the point. Though I tell you, like she cognition ain't clicking. I put in that part. Like she cognition ain't clicking. Something not right with that woman thinking. It seems as if she peer, you know how you just take your phone and peer to other device? Like she peer, she holds herself to Donald Trump, President of America. So let me continue. Having a country like Venezuela issuing such an edict, I think that's the word, she has now become the laughing stock of the region and the global community right large. I don't know if it's a typo, right? WRIT, large. The joke that Trump has become to the international community is exactly, and I didn't read this before, is exactly as the same as Kamala to CARICOM. Here is why. According to National Assembly President Jorge Rodriguez, if there is a country that has been generous with Trinidad and Tobago, that country is the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Given the long history between these two countries, he is right. In addition, she further compounded her stupidity when she abandoned CARICOM and decided to look for trading partners outside the region. Seeing that CARICOM is a cash cow for TNT manufacturers, the imbalance in trade is about 5-1 in our favor. The limpid lady clearly believes that an unknown bird on the wilderness is better than a cage full of tame birds. Therefore, she has abandoned all sense of priority and opted for a better relationship with an unscrupulous, convicted criminal who never keeps his word. A president who is a pathological liar, who turns against America historically traditional allies like Canada, NATO, and others. So why would anyone want to do business with us when they cannot trust this government? To quote Roy Mitchell, Trinidad and Tobago intellectually earned leadership standing in CARICOM and indeed in the Western Hemisphere is being disingenuously undermined by our own Prime Minister, all in a matter of 5 months. Kamala's action can be summed up like the proverbial dog that when crossing the river, he saw his reflection in the water with a bigger bone in his mouth. Therefore, he jumped in. We all know how that favor ended. However, Trinidad and Tobago may not have a soft landing. We can all end up like the East Wing in the White House, which Trump promised not to touch. This is what happens when our stupid Prime Minister abandons the region's founding principles that Caribbean peace is best, preserved by neutrality, dialogue, and respect for sovereignty. It's right there. It's right there, and you tell me people supporting that? When they're sick, just like MAGA supporters in America, these UNC supporters just as sick in the mind. Young people are talking. Young people don't want no war. Young people want to know what's seen this woman on. Was she drinking? Was she smoking? The young people are talking. I spoke to an 18-year-old today. She just graduated from Bishop's East. And when I hear her conversation, I was impressed. They up on the hip on things. They're talking. They're not stupid. They're using social media. Not only for game and all kind of bacchanal and TikTok. They're using it to get information because they understand the implication of war in the Caribbean and what will do to their future. They will have one. But that's done. Stop it. And in that base, I want to see Mr. Shamchuk say here. And I say, racist. And the world say now, drunk prime minister of this country, Trinidad and Tobago, dragging Trinidad and Tobago into a thing that we not able. And them don't have, them who support and she have no belly, you know. Historically, them have no belly, you know. I talking straight talk. All I have to do, all I have to like it, but all they do have to agree with me. As I have to tell some people on Facebook, if you agree with me, okay, no problem. If you don't agree with me, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not looking for no support. If I get support, I'm thankful. All I know that. But I need to stand on my own with me and my God and talk my truth. Whether you like it or not, because the truth is the truth. Historically, all you know they don't have no history or no having no belly. They are saying the easy way out. They like to talk a big talk, but it's for African people to fight the fight for them. Tell me if I lie. And I say again, I don't speak about all Indian people. But you know what happening? All who don't think like Kamla, they're not saying nothing. So they're leaving me to wonder if all they're thinking like Kamla Prasad Bisesa. And I don't believe all of us think like that. I believe all they're better than that. All they want unity between the races in Trinidad and Tobago. But all they need to start to say something. Look now, this thing is no joke, you know. This thing is no joke. And you see this Minister of Foreign Affairs and CARICOM Affairs, in my opinion, is the most dunsest. Like when they join the UNC, it does get more daughters. It's the dunsest CARICOM Minister of Foreign Affairs I ever see. Ever see. And because he's talking and chopping us, he's starting to look chopping too. That's my opinion. So this is what he had to say. This was in the Guardian yesterday. Trinidad and Tobago continues efforts to appoint Venezuela ambassador amidst diplomatic tension. You hear the dotishness? Already declare war against Nicolas Maduro and the government. Already siding with America to do what we're not accustomed with in the Caribbean. We are not mono war. And all have all kind of things to say about them. She had stand up in parliament as the opposition leader and say that she supports Guaido as the president of the country in Venezuela. All them things all they're doing, and all I want to tell you, bull BS, Sean Sobers. Hey, you want to tell me BS and they're putting you there. They're always putting the Negro to make a fool of themselves and them in the background. So this is what the Honorable Minister to say. Trinidad and Tobago is actively seeking to appoint an ambassador to Venezuela, despite Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa being declared persona non grata by the Venezuelan National Assembly. How dunce is that? How dunce is that? All they want to join with a sovereign country to go into the next sovereign country to remove the person who the people in Venezuela vote for, whether it's 20 vote for him, 30 vote for him, 40 vote for him. They had an election, they vote for him. All they want to join with a sovereign country to go into the next sovereign country to destabilize that country so they could get the people gas for free. And you're talking BS about only looking to actively send somebody from Trinidad to be ambassador in Venezuela. But I didn't go in. Whoever they want to send, I didn't go in. I'm not good and wasn't going there. Let Sean Sobers go there. Let them go there. I wasn't going and put myself in that space. After had me uncomfortable, I wasn't going. But then again, the person might go because they might like power and money and they ain't had to stand for nothing. Me reading this whole thing, you know. I just reading the next piece. I just reading. I can't take the dunces. Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers confirmed that despite rising tensions with the Nicolas Maduro regime, there are no concerns regarding the safety of Trinidad and Tobago Embassy or its personnel to Caracas. On the process of appointing an ambassador, Sobers said, as far as my last instruction from the Prime Minister, we are considering filling all ambassadorial positions, but we are taking our time with this, vetting candidates thoroughly. Once the process is completed, we will send persons to post, not only to Venezuela, but across other missions as well. Where Ralph Maraj? He had everything to say and writing in the papers, everything about Dr. Rowley was nasty as can be. Where he mouth shut now, he's what CARICOM penitentiary and all that. What he saying? The first thing he run out and say, he would side in with America. We talking and saying now. The Honorable Deborah Felix Thomas, I think is she who is the ambassador in Jamaica. What do for the Jamaican students? They show we they had 3 tuna and a 1 little pack of Milo and all that. All they give them, all they give them money to get back to Trinidad. Who wanted to come back? Eh? Where all they take the position for power? That's why I say somebody might really take the position to go Caracas under them conditions. So let me see who they're sending. They vetting or they vet Ralph Maraj. Look, me reading no more in this, man. Me reading no more in this. So that we see. While he's saying that, and they in business and all that, look what happened in Venezuela.
Esta señora es una delincuente que tiene ansias de guerra y es una lacaya del imperialismo. Trinidad y Tobago, estamos con tu pueblo, pero no con tus gobernantes que se arrastran ante el imperialismo.
What they're saying, they're talking in Spanish, but they have option picture. And I know I see they have picture with the call El Diablo and Fascicio and whatever the hell me don't talk Spanish. Nothing complimentary. And they think out she eye and put she mouth in red and all kind of, so it's nothing complimentary. They're saying about this woman in Venezuela. Right? But them looking to send ambassador. So listen to this reporter who I felt proud of her as a reporter in how she conducted herself. She was asking the Minister of CARICOM and Foreign Affairs, Sean Sobers, a question, and here he responds. Again, always put the Negroes and then stay in the background. Listen.
Accurately on the facts. Does the government have evidence that any of these people killed, whether they were Trinidadian or not, were in possession of illegal drugs, illegal weapons, illegal narcotics from our U.S. counterparts?
The answer to that, in short, is no. And the reason for the answer being no, the strikes are military intervention strikes or military strikes being conducted in pursuit of a military operation by the U.S. There's information that the U.S. will share. There's information that they won't share pursuant to a military operation, which is what this is. These are strikes that are being conducted in international waters. If these strikes occurred within national waters, then the U.S. would have to share information with Trinidad and Tobago. These are not strikes that are occurring within our territorial waters, nor are these strikes that are occurring in our EZ. They are strikes that are occurring in international waters, pursuant to a military operation with entities that they've designated as terrorist organizations. I don't hear the media coming to ask Trinidad and Tobago about strikes that occur in Lebanon or Syria by other international entities when they deem persons as combatants pursuant to designating them as terrorists. So it's very hypocritical then to come and ask the government about military operations by the U.S. when they are occurring in international waters.
With all due respect, Minister, these international waters are not far across the way. We could see Venezuela from Cedros, from Icacos. We could see Venezuela from even Moruga. So I think it's quite a valid question to ask, especially because between these waters, Trinidad and Tobago nationals, fishermen, they complain often about interactions with pirates within those very international waters. So to bring it back to facts, as you so put it, and in fairness and in the interest of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, not because of my personal interest, but the national interest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, who sometimes go between Venezuela and Trinidad. We have those reports. And because these kinetic strikes are taking place in international waters and our citizens may be involved, it is a fair question. So again, are we even seeking to get that evidence from the United States, especially because it may, only because there's a possibility that it may involve Trinidad and Tobago citizens?
As we said when these operations began, once you are a law-abiding fisher folk or pleasure craft person operating legitimately, you have absolutely nothing to fear. And that answers your question in short.
Do we have evidence that the strikes occurred in international waters and not our own?
Yes. Yes, we have evidence that the strikes occurred in international waters.
Minister Sobers, you said you had information that the strike that reported on October 14th happened in national waters. What evidence exactly is that? What specific evidence you have?
That would have been some of the information that would have been shared to us by the U.S.
Do you know exactly where it happened?
No, I don't have the longitude and latitude to provide to you now.
But would you do it sometime in the future?
I may consider providing you with the longitude and latitude in the future.
Who we have as the Minister Foreign Affairs and CARICOM, and then want we are confident in them. October 31st, 2025, in the CNC news report. I'm reading a story by Radical De Silva. Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers has confirmed that the Lochmaden Roman Catholic School in Cedros was the only local school to receive direct assistance from the U.S. Marines, despite earlier government statements suggesting that several schools would benefit. Speaking to CNC3 News, Minister Sobers clarified that while U.S. military personnel engaged in various humanitarian and technical missions during their recent deployment, only one school was included in that initiative. Not only one school, the Lochmaden Roman Catholic received aid, Sobers said. That is after his government, where he's the Foreign Affairs Minister, says several schools, and they want we to believe he and to believe them. No, there's only one school. We get assistance from the USS Gravely or wherever that was here just recently and going back. His confirmation come after both Kamla Prasad Bissessa and Minister of Works Jolene John had earlier indicated that the U.S. Marines would assist multiple schools as part of a broader cooperation. Me reading no more. And then were we to believe them? Yeah? Then were we to believe them? But what I now turn and see the AG. I will talk about it just now. Let me get back to where I was. We must believe them. So I saw this report coming out of Washington, and it's a report, I think it's today. Unfortunately, the date didn't come out when I copied it. It says, Washington, United States. President Donald Trump said on Friday that he is not considering military strikes on Venezuela amidst growing concern in Caracas over what is viewed as a potential U.S. buildup aimed at regime change. The United States has recently deployed 8 Navy ships to the Caribbean, stationed F-35 stealth fighter jets in Puerto Rico, and sent an aircraft carrier with strike group towards the region. A move Washington insists is part of an operation to curb drug trafficking. When asked aboard Air Force One about reports suggesting possible strikes on Venezuela, Trump replied simply, no. Since early September, the U.S. has launched a series of strikes against suspected drugs smuggling vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, reportedly killing at least 62 people and destroying 14 boats and 1 semi-submersible craft. While the Trump administration described the operation as essential to national security, citing the threat posed by drug traffickers, critics argue that the attacks amount to extrajudicial killings, even if the target known as smugglers. And that is what people were saying. The penalty, if you want to put it so, for drug smugglers is not execution and instant death. It's go to court and they find it guilty. As somebody was saying, I think El Chapo, he hasn't been executed or nothing. He's in jail. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Prime Minister of this country, who they call him drunk all over the world, who Mr. Lennox Shamshaw is saying says stupid, and I put racist there, talking about kill them violently. Drug traffickers are not murdered, not killed when whole. They just have to go to court. In law, there's nothing that executes drug traffickers. They just go to court. But Kamala Persad-Bissessar, this Prime Minister who I say, we ought to know she medical status. We need to know if the drinking she been drinking for years, according to she people, not we. And she chain smoking when she people talk about not we. She said she's a diabetic. When you put all them things together, it doesn't augurs well for cognition. It ain't augurs well for your liver, for your kidney. So what it is we have here is it a shell. And there's allegation that she just take Botox. Me and not know that. Me and not know no Botox and whatever. It is alleged she taking Botox. I don't know that true. But what I know is true. The world calling she a drunk. The region seeing people have up thing calling she drunk. Look now. Hey. Oh la 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 la. Trinidad and Tobago. Even in the UK, they're protesting. In the UK, they're protesting. Watch them. That's in front of the consulate. Trinidad consulate in the UK. They're protesting. Guys in the UK and Trinidad and Tobago, we just normal. Normal. Them as elders who out in the UK, them understand this thing. They understand that the Caribbean is a zone of peace. Bloodthirsty Trump, no war for oil, hands off Venezuela, Yankee go home. This one said no blood for oil, Yankee go home. Then we go back to the first one. Kamala stop working for Yankee dollar. That what tell us she want we to come back prostitutes. Gina and Dinah by the corner. Looking for the Yankee dollar. Somebody tell me before the Yankees was here back in the day when they had Dom Shagramas and had the base, all that. We never used to be cussing F-word and all in this country. You used to go to court. If you tell people they never see come see, that was cuss. When them come here, that was they said cuss like a sailor. Them bringing this cussing, effing this and mother this and that the person tell me that. I remember what they tell me because an elder who lived through them time. Look this one. Kamala, just stop working for the Yankee dollar. Let me see the first one. Kamala, Trini blood is on your hands. Oh, what is this? The soul cannot think about Dr. Rowley, but you never see no international and regional protests against Dr. Rowley. All kind of stupid talk in Trinidad and Tobago. But outside in the wider world, he's known as a scientist, an academic, a curriculum man, a statesman. Even Joe Biden, when he bounced him up there, when they get the honorary doctorate in Howard University, he said, hey, I have to talk to you. Voice this. You know you're good, sir. Here what they say about the Prime Minister knowing a woman too. They say she's a drunk. Here what they say, Kamala, learn to say no to the... I just went to read the sign, people. Kamala, learn to say no to the pussy grabbing Donald. That's what it's saying. It's not me saying so. All in the UK. This thing going viral. They want to talk viral. This thing viral with Kamala Persad-Bissessar as a drunk Prime Minister. And people want to seriously tell me that they support Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Well, all they don't like all their children. All they don't want a future for all their children. All his beasts. All his animals. All they don't care about all their children and their future. All they want to see them blown to bits and the leg fling so, arm fling so. The belly big and hungry because we can't get food. That's all they want for all their children because what? All they don't like paying them. And all is Indian together, so they're supporting the Indian woman because paying them is African people. That's what it's about. Boy, this is Trinidad and Tobago, boy. This is a cosmopolitan country. We always have a little lily between me and whatever, but we just pull together one boy. Nanny called we across to get some Baji and Sada. You come across by thing, you get sweet bread and thing. When the girl getting married to the boy, they inviting you, you're going down and we thinking as one day, boy. Yes, we must have we challenges with the racism and thing, but Kamala Persad-Bissessar to me like she want to amplify this racism in this country. The woman sent home over 10,000 CPAP workers, when mostly we know is African people, single mothers, single fathers. Families trying to make it. There's a hustle because they go and they think that whatever. But the money that flow in, she take away that from them. She take away money from the corporation, Port of Spain Corporation, where's a PNM corporation, and the don't say PNM is African. So what you want me to say? You stand on reforestation. Look, a man committed suicide. He and his wife get sent home from reforestation. You send on URP too. And then talking about you're bringing back workers, bringing them back where there's a lie. In my opinion, the budget has collapsed because all they peg it on some oil price, some $70-something. All they pundit and this one, that one say it's $50 to $55. All they peg it on $70-something. It ain't only have no money. The budget collapsed. We see that because all they didn't even include in it the 10% for the public officers. All they include it. I want to tell we chopping us about, no negotiation start yet, and the CPO. And I tell all you, the Minister of Finance, whether PNM, CP, COP, whoever it is, Minister of Finance, is them directly involved with the negotiation. Because the boss of the CPO is the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance has instructed the CPO. And this done stupid girl, this done stupid and experienced girl, as the head of the public service, she asked from she elbow, lying to people. She prop what she had Leroy, but he's not minister of labor. You think he had time with she? He left she there, all they hear anything about negotiation. She get PSM members to go down in the office, and when Kanku talk, they start to hug one another and scream and get on. Like this is the dotish. And there's nothing in the budget for we money for 10%. Wouldn't that screaming and hugging one another for she there too? Like when they give all it to rub all it as it. I don't know when the public service gets so done. The public service is full of Educated people with double masters and all kind of things. Look at the ministry there. I hear workers of a particular race. Them happy because them getting minister information on somebody, the former minister higher in the Ministry of Youth Development National Services that is recognized by IRIS. And the fella had double masters. The fella had double masters. Whether or not the former minister higher whoever, the fella is qualified. Them talking about that and happy they get the minister mark the boss in the finance committee. That will be rich. That will be rich. For a ministry that's not recognized, that's a ghost ministry. That's a ghost ministry, not recognized by IRIS, that's a ghost ministry. Let me continue. Listen to people complaining, and it's mostly people African descent. Them is the one that's saying the code is yellow, and when UNC win, everybody win. Everybody that's singing that. Sometimes the song in your head and you're singing it to whoever. Who win? Who win? Listen to them.
When the UNC supporters, because I'm rich. Oh, they're looking for me. Look, I'm rich. Many people who support the UNC because I'm very upset.
Supporters, the UNC supporters, I come to mash up this fucking jersey today. I come to cut up this jersey to fucking things, right? Because my back pay, not in the fucking budget, right? So it's no longer a fucking UNC. UNC all your mother cunt. I don't give a fuck. Supporters, the UNC supporters, I come to mash up this fucking jersey today. I come to cut up this jersey to fucking things, right? Because my back pay, not in the fucking budget, right? So it's no longer a fucking UNC. UNC all your mother cunt. I don't give a fuck.
Right? My apologies, I want to warn you all that it have obscene language, but it's unfiltered. Let me talk the thing unfiltered, and that is a part of the language that is spoken. Hear the young girl, apparently she's a public officer. Hear what she's saying? Them is a thing. Yellow is the code. When UNC win, all of we win. That would tell we. Hear what they say, no, hear this next one complaining. No, this one don't have any. This one don't have any obscene. I think so. But if it does, my apologies.
Hey, Kamala, Auntie Kamala, hear me now. This war thing not going on right now. They're saying you sign a deal with them, right? With America. So why is not visa free for Trinidad and Tobago citizens to go to America? Why you need visa? I know they're signing deal in war. Eh? So people in Trinidad get dead over war, but we can't go in the country. Don't let them people use we now. Don't let them people use we. You hear them talking about anything happen in we waters, the bomb in we. You hear what Venezuela say? Venezuela say, if America shoot any missile in Trinidad water or anything happen in Trinidad water, they say they're shooting America, you know, they're coming for Trinidad. And all the tax-paying citizen and law-abiding citizen in Trinidad and Tobago have is cutlass, bottle, and big stone. You have, you know, Secret Service, and you have all the guns and ammunition around you. You understand? And if it get real bad, you're going to jump on a plane and you're going to fly out. So let we be real now. Let we be real. Let we be real. Why is not visa free for Trinidad and Tobago citizens to go to America? I know, let's sign this and that to go in war. Hear it now. Thing don't make sense.
Right? They're talking, you know. They're talking. Listen to this one too. They're talking. Who went in there? That fella singing like a young fellow, but you can't really judge by people's voice sometimes, the age and thing. But he win. The code is still yellow. Listen to this.
All your wicked and evil and all it is lie. All your wicked and evil, all this thief. and want to try to make all yourself look good. But she's saying Ting, all of oil is thief. All of oil is thief.
I tell you, don't mind the little blackout state and that's not right there. Don't worry yourself. Yeah? Everybody talking. I thought we was winning. I thought when UNC, when everybody win, and that was his song. Yellow was the chord and the dancing and the thing, and who winning? Port I spend like a ghost song. They remove 10,000 plus CPEP workers. Then how much URP workers? How much reforestation workers? How much contracted workers from the economic system? Oh God, it's not an economist, it's not an accountant, nothing but it has sense. While monthly paid people buying things when the month come, them workers was buying things every day, every week, every fortnight. They had the economy at that level pumping. You move them suddenly, they just so no notice, no letter, nothing. They come to work one morning and all they say is ghost. And it's them was cleaning this country. They went to Grenada to help clean Grenada. Them CPEP workers, all they calling them ghosts. And it's have a ministry, now it's a ghost. All they call it CPEP worker was working and out there with the waka, cleaning the canal, cleaning it because that has somebody to clean it. Just like them would just pick up garbage and just call them sanitation engineer. If them and do the work and pick up the garbage and all kind of thing, how this country could be going to clean it? Just like the cleaner who just clean the toilet, all they just use and leave dirty sometimes. So they could get next morning to use and during the day and all that. Or the maid who does make the sandwich and the thing and set up the office, the executive office, for them to have a meeting. It's very important, just like the secretary who does take the notes. Just as a director in HR or the permanent, just as important, you take away the lower level workers, the ones on top will collapse. And that's what they do. The economic system, in my opinion, in this country is collapsing because all they take out the bottom, so the top will come down. All these failures by who went in. Listen to this too. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it's a vaccine, but if it does, my apologies. But this is real talk because I heard people talking, all the people ain't talking all night. People not doing that now because nobody went in.
So there is this video circulating on social media where the finance minister, Minister Tanku, is stating that the country is in a financially depressed situation and things looking bad. But when the then Tanku was in opposition, they didn't believe the government. The government is saying things are bad, tighten your belt, but nobody believed the government. Really, nobody believed the government. I think, and what made it worse was that the then government took the recommendation from the Salary Reviews Commission and took the increased salaries, which the now government is enjoying. So nobody believed the government when they said things bad, and things have been bad since 2015. When the cost of a barrel of oil went from $110 to $120 to $55 a barrel in 2015. And so the government, since 2015, the government has been in a crunch, a financial crunch for 9.5, going on 10 years. But in spite of that crunch, we had COVID. And you know what happened in COVID? Everybody know what happened in COVID. Nobody lost their jobs. As a matter of fact, people stayed home for extensive amount of time, got paid. Pensioners got paid on time. Government employees got paid on time. I mean, the government at that time turned water into wine. And the thing, we were able to keep our head above water. Fast forward to now. What this government has been able to accomplish in 6 months is unexplainable. and not accomplished in a good way. They managed to cause this economy to get a downgrade. They managed to send thousands of people home. They managed to somehow the system fell apart and persons can't get their salaries on time. Pensioners can't get the salaries on time. And when they did get it, many of them went to the bank, the check bounce. I mean, what you're doing? Now we are heading into a budget and saying, a budget presentation and saying, the thing bad. The thing has been bad long time. Public servants want the money, things bad long time. But Sundyuk say, we don't care if the place burned down, give away money, the things bad long time. So that is not what we want to hear. What we want to hear is that in spite of reduced revenues, the government is going to make every effort to ensure that the hardship that citizens suffer is minimal. We don't want to hear things bad. We know things bad. So if you cannot do the job, sir, simply say so. And stop firing the experts who could actually do the job. You're now calling on persons in the diaspora to come home and help build back the economy. That all you're mashing up. Stop mashing up the thing. You all met structures in place. What is wrong with keeping a structure that is working? This is not about which side of the fence you're sitting on. If something is working, there's no need to pelt out the whole system. And that is what you all have been doing, and that is why we're finding ourselves in the problem that we find in ourselves. Because if UNC didn't do it, put it in place, and PNM put it in place, is a bad system. The system has been working. Work the system. Work the system.
Right? People talking out. Look the Minister, Trade and Industry, the Sasha man who built Sasha Empire. Good, sir. You did well. Like, you don't understand, this is not, Trinidad and Tobago is not Sasha Cosmetics. Only talking about new market and new market and new market. You're going to look for the market. He don't have a concept. He operating like if he running Sasha. It's two different things, sir. Oh God, man, only get it together now. It's the same thing with the new tertiary, the tertiary one. The one who is the minister tertiary, whatever. Some professors only. He gone in the finance committee and talking about the PNM leave, that ministry in a mess, and you want to clear it up, and they're telling me, Mister, that ministry in exec for 10 years. What were you talking about? He's still persisting and talking that the Honorable Kyoto, my member panel, and tell him it's a good thing you're not teaching nobody children and thing, boy. I paint it my way. You ain't teaching nobody children, boy. Because like I put it my way, how I tell myself, well, that conversation could go. You have to be real dotish. You talking about a ministry that never exists and saying, but PNM leave it in a mess. We talking about the new ministry that you have now, boy. How much is the vacancy there? How much? The man gone on. I don't know if it's some fumes they're smelling. I don't know if it's something they're sniffing. I don't know if it's something they get to rub and they eating. I don't understand it. It's like a cloud of dotishness over UNC minister. The only person other thing is Julian John, but I didn't really hear she in the finance committee. But I hear she, like she started a song dance to, oh Jesus, wait, is a spirit. No, I hear Minister of Finance, he fall down. I say to myself, I say, yeah, what must a spirit bro you get? The tears of the people who crying. Them thing is real thing, CPEP workers crying, and you now give public officers a slap in the face, saying put nothing in the budget for them. You fall down. Who knows? Must see the tears, must see the vibration, send it out to you. Your pressure raise. Wait is happening. You didn't see the ground proper. You didn't have a smoke. You didn't have a drink. You fall down. And as for that, all of hearing anything about Roche, it is alleged. It is alleged that now that the committee or whatever with the petrotrin thing fall through, I hear it is alleged that OWTU buildings and them like how let me see what the person sent for me. It is alleged. Let me send. I don't like to just talk things just give me a minute. Right. The person said, I heard OWTU owned properties for closing because of the failed refinery. Me don't know how true that is, Papa. But is that why you're not hearing nothing from Roger again? He did big and he did bad out there talking. How you hear nothing now? This silent. So is it true that as the deal fall through, all the properties they have all over it for closing? Well, I could imagine if that is true, the state of affairs in OWTU. I just asking a question. Again, somebody write about the Honorable Sean Sobers. Oh God, listen to me now. You should have start up politics, mister. And if you're some lawyer, whatever, do your law thing. Because you're getting slammed all out, and it's because of the thing you're saying. You're making yourself sound dunce. So here this person, right? It's just what the thing is, I just had it here. Hold it, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Oh Jesus, it's so much. It's so much. So much. It is too much sometimes. So the person is, if I'm not mistaken, one Dinesh Budu. I think that is the name, eh? If not, forgive me, but I think the first name is Dinesh. So this is what the person, right? At Thursday post-cabinet briefing, Foreign Affairs Minister Sean Sobers delivered what might be the most unintentionally honest summary of this government foreign policy. We have no evidence and we don't see the problem. In his usual tone, equal part arrogance and half-expired drowsy cough syrup, Sobers calmly admitted that the government has no evidence to support claims that the recent U.S. drone strikes in the Caribbean, which have reportedly killed about 50 people so far, actually targeted narco traffickers. Didn't the young lady ask about that? I think so. And he talked about who hypocritical and they didn't ask when things in Iran and all kind of trouble. It's like if we live in all day, we live in the Caribbean. Didn't the woman ask that? Didn't the young lady ask that? And Sean Sobers saying here, them have no evidence, but Kamala Prasad sister, he prime minister, drunk, racist prime minister, and stupid prime minister, and who might have a mental problem prime minister to kill them violently. And she's supporting Trump and what they're doing? Now, let me continue. Then, with the confidence of a man who has lost a few arguments with his own mirror, he scolded the media for daring to treat that as a big deal. As if being concerned about foreign missiles blowing up boats near our borders was some kind of petty hobby for people with people with too much time on their hands. Sobers also unwittingly acknowledged that the United States doesn't appear to be sharing much intelligence or information with Trinidad and Tobago, meaning our government is defending actions it has not even been fully briefed on. Ordinarily, government ministers defending policies they do not understand. Just no. Ordinarily, government ministers defending policies they do not understand would just be another day at the Ministry of Finance. But this one involves dead citizens. A Trinidadian man, 26-year-old Chad Joseph, is dead. So is Rishi Samaru. Router and The Guardian both report that the two men are believed to have been killed when a U.S. drone struck a small boat off Venezuela on October the 16th. Joseph's family say he was a fisherman. The U.S. say he was a narco terrorist. There have been no charges, no evidence, no trial, just a drone strike and a shrug. Sobers also chided reporters for focusing on U.S. drone strike occurring in international waters rather than on on military strikes in the Middle East. And I tell you that the dunceness, we don't live in the Middle East. We live in the Caribbean, and we see in the Caribbean as a zone of peace. So why will we go and ask questions but striking Iran? And we living in the Caribbean, it's here we have to talk about. That I tell you, like them sniffing something, or they're drinking something, or I don't know what it is. Or what they get them to rub they eat. Firstly, according to one news report, a boat was struck by a drone just 65 miles off the coast of TNT. That's practically on our doorstep. And secondly, apparently Minister Sobas wants us all to view the Caribbean Sea just like Fallujah in 2005. No, I don't know what that means. But the Caribbean is not a theater of war. And even in war, there are rules of engagement. The fact remains that President Trump currently has no congressional authorization for military actions in the Caribbean. International law experts and human rights observers have described these maritime strikes as extrajudicial killings, state killings carried out outside a recognized conflict and without due process. These are those, of course, who say those drone strikes are all part of a bigger plan to remove Nicolas Maduro from power. And what better way to spread democracy to Venezuela than by accusing people of arbitrary crime without evidence and then executing them all? Minister Soba should ask himself this one thing. Does a government that refuses to question a foreign power, especially a supposed close ally, over the deaths of its own citizens, no matter who they were, showing diplomacy or prudence? Or is it instead displaying fearful, submissive obedience? I think so. The one has always said, men who don't stand up for nothing ever could get brush easy. So let me continue with this. I want all to listen to Dr. Ruda Munilal, because in my opinion, this man has no experience, no diplomacy. He don't know about negotiate, nothing but the energy sector. Listen to him for me, please.
Persona non grata, you have to negotiate with Venezuela. Last time we spoke, you said it wasn't an issue, but now we need to find out what is the latest with that and how do we go forward with Venezuela.
Let me make a point, because the reason I did not speak too quickly on this matter, the reason I did not speak, you're okay now, right? Yes. The reason I did not speak too quickly with the matter is because in my own way, I like to cross-check things, I like to check information and ensure that when I speak to the press, I'm as accurate as possible and what I say are the facts as they are at the moment. So that was the reason, incidentally, I refrained from speaking too early on this matter. I can now confirm that the pronouncements of the authorities in Venezuela, whether it's Mr. Maduro or Ms. Delcy Rodriguez, as the case may be, I can confirm that notwithstanding those pronouncements, that we are now informed that the Manatee project is safe and will proceed as we have been proceeding. As you know, there are some infrastructure developments related to that project that are ongoing. Those projects continue. We will continue to speak with Shell in particular and other stakeholders concerning an expansion in gas production from Manatee. I took note of another daily statement. The former Minister of Energy is unemployed, I believe, and produces this daily statement. I took note of one, I can't remember which day, in which he was saying that the Manatee project is in danger because of the declarations in Venezuela and so on. I can confirm that he's wrong. I thought he was wrong, but I can confirm it now, that because of that process that had been used to deunitize that project and ensure that countries develop in their own waters, so to speak, that continues. So he was wrong on that front. I want to make the point and reinforce what the Prime Minister has said, that we are not dependent on Venezuelan gas. We have a robust plan for exploration, production and development of oil and gas onshore, with Heritage in particular, and offshore projects with several multinationals, including Shell, BP, EOG, Perenco.
Who did you speak with in Venezuela?
That's the question.
We conduct our business through all our stakeholders, and on diplomatic state-to-state relations, as you all know, we work through the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. So that continues. I want to make the point that we are not dependent on Venezuelan gas. To this moment, people may not know, but we have in place now, we have absolutely no commercial relationship with Venezuela as it relates to gas. We do not produce anything at this point. We have plans, we have projects, we have several cross-border fields, but we are not losing a dollar at this moment. And we will continue along our diplomatic lines, notwithstanding the echoes in Venezuela. And to answer your next question, which has been said to me, if it is that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is persona non grata, if the PM is persona non grata, then it's clear that if the Prime Minister is persona non grata, I am Minister non grata. So it is almost absurd to think that if the Prime Minister is not welcome in a particular jurisdiction, as a Minister of Energy, I would be welcome. And I'm hearing that and seeing that, and I want to tell you that with great respect, I think some of the folks on that side of the border have gone loco.
Now we're looking at the U.S. Media reporting imminent strikes. What does that do for the price of oil? What does that do for our economy, especially one being an oil and gas?
Well, I mean, as I said, I don't comment on state-to-state relations and those kind of regional security matters. That is within the hands of Minister Sobers, the Prime Minister, and Minister Roger Alexander as well. But what I can say, in any zone of conflict in the world, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, the Middle East, and so on, any zone of conflict in the world that involves, the OPEC nations and oil-producing nations and so on, whether it's Trinidad, Guyana, wherever, it will have impact on the price of oil, the supply, and so on. And we monitor that on a daily basis, so that we are hoping that there is no great fallout. As you know, Trinidad and Tobago is not a significant producer of oil. The last government collapsed the oil sector. When we left, it was 78,000 barrels a day. Today, when we took office, it was 38,000 barrels per day. And today we are happy to record that we are at 54,000 barrels per day. And it's going in the right direction. So that we do have in my book, we do have a small business with oil. I'm hoping that that is not affected too much. But we monitor that on a daily basis. And it is not only the geopolitics, there are other market issues involved with suppliers and so on.
The assurance about humanity came from who exactly?
Me.
Through, you said the Minister of Foreign Affairs would the Ministry of Foreign Affairs would have handled that dialogue. Right, so who would have informed you that?
I took steps in discussions with all stakeholders to inform myself. Thank you all.
Coquina Mannequin, is that? I know that's another
we have a project as a joint project with BP, of course, and we are proceeding in terms of the business of license and so on. As you know, we have now the license, which they didn't believe we can get. The former minister thought we had nothing in place, but we have the license now to have transactions with the Dragon Gas project, and that will continue. Okay? Thank you all. God bless. Thank you.
What is Dr. Milan talking about all this? Waiters them sniffing or drinking or eating with a rubbing or wait. Listen. So he's trying to make a case. Okay, no problem. Basically, let's start with the people in Venezuela local, and I want you to get on a plane, Dr. Milan, and I want you to go to Venezuela. I want you to get on a plane and go to Venezuela to have conversation with Delcy Rodriguez or the Maduro administration. Get on a plane and go now. The local, get on a plane and go now. You said that Stuart Young unemployed. You want to try a job at Stuart Young. MP Stuart Young is an opposition MP. He's in parliament, he getting paid. How he unemployed? He's a senior counsel and have a private practice. How he unemployed? You're trying to make an argument to think somebody and talking a pack of bull. You're talking a pack of BS. You also say that all them monitoring the oil prices. If all them monitoring the oil prices, how the ass all them peg we budget on $70-something a barrel when oil is selling $50 to $55. So what all them monitoring? But I thought it's like something all they drinking across in the UNC. I'm talking about the PNM that destroyed the energy sector. And when they came into office 2010, that we were producing 38 million barrels a 1,000 barrels a. I did some research, whatever. We were producing because the local producer, the local drillers here was 50,000 barrels of oil, and we started to buy the rest of crude because Petrotrin could refine 190 something thousand barrels of crude oil only. We were producing the small producers like AV drilling and them 50,000 barrels. So how we come to talk about they come and they meet, it was producing 38, and then when there was data, it was build your argument and having proper receipts. Don't throw jab at people. So you know what it make me believe? All we just talk there, in my opinion, he lied. Because if you're talking things that is a lie, because to say Stuart Young is unemployed, that is a lie. He's an opposition member of parliament, he get a salary. He ain't gonna get his salary like all others get because he is sitting members of parliament. And he has his own private practice. He's a senior counsel. He was hired by contractors to deal with the matters and whatever. So how we unemployed? So everything you say went out the window. Here the next one. I don't know if it's the bank truck, the banker or horn. We had this man so, but he and all song and dance. So listen to him. Attorney General John Jeremy said the activity currently taking place in Lower Manatee gas field lies within Trinidad and Tobago share of the field. He made the point in response to comments by opposition Senator Faris Alwari during yesterday's Senate debate, Senate sitting, which debate a motion to confirm the excise duty tobacco products amendment number 2 of Order 2025. Jeremy recalled that there had been a dispute surrounding the Lower Manatee arrangement, which was negotiated when he previously served as Attorney General under a former People's National Movement government led by Patrick Manning. He explained that the field consisted of a single reservoir, with Lauren referring to the Venezuelan portion and Manatee to the Trinidad and Tobago side. One, that field has been de-utilized. Secondly, the Manatee side of the field is entirely in the waters of Trinidad and Tobago, he said. He criticized the opposition for spreading disinformation, quoting the saying, "A lie repeated often enough can create an illusion of truth. No matter how big the lie is, if you repeat it often enough, the masses will regard it as true." And I want to ask the AG, is it something that you all are practicing while you're able to talk about that? Because I've never seen the former Minister of Energy, former Prime Minister, no matter how short the time was, lying to anybody in the energy sector. Everything is laid out there. You could go on his page, you could go on the energy sector, whatever, and you could see it laid out there. Nobody never say he's lying. The information is there, chronicled. So I don't know if it's the banker, the bank truck, or horn. Where are you getting on? So, but check yourself. I have an image of you standing up and bowling me coming for you, and you, and you. That is the behavior of an Attorney General of a country. Look, he criticizes the opposition for spreading disinformation, quoting I. Jeremy sought to correct what he described as misinformation about the field. Look, I'm not reading no more because I want to know if it has a fence in the water so that they could go and stand up and say, Senorita, we are across here and you're crossing. It have a line where you could say this is Trinidad water, this is Venezuela water. So if you go in the water, why you think it has end up in a whole drama when you're in water? Because the water has no demarcation to say this is Trinidad. If you go further in so on, it has no line. So listen, a real minister responded. Unfortunately, there seems to be information in the public domain on recent development that affect our energy sector. The Laurel and Manatee gas field straddles over the Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela maritime border. Approximately 27% of the field is in Trinidad and Tobago water, and 73% is in Venezuelan waters. Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela have a utilization agreement to develop this field together, as is normal when oil/gas fields cross two country borders. This means that either country to develop and produce the field, they need to agree on how it should be done, and no country can develop their side without agreement from the other. Seeing the problem of our declining gas reserve in 2029, we negotiated with the government of Venezuela and got them to agree that we will begin producing the gas in the Manatee share of the field. This was done pursuant to an agreement that both countries had previously entered into that allowed for joint exploration of natural gas fields. So whilst the 2019 agreement allows us to produce Manatee in a deunitized manner, it still requires Venezuela consent and relies on an agreement that was entered into with Venezuela. The management of our energy sector requires diplomacy and competence. In service, Stuart R. Young, STMP, October the 30th, 2025. Rural Muniland said they get a license. Nobody didn't know they got a license, but the license is worthless, Dr. Rural Muniland, because Venezuela said they have no dealing with all this. So how are they going to get here? Or they're waiting and hoping that there's some overthrow government so they could go and thief the people gas for free. All they love freeness, all they love to thief. All they want to go and get Venezuela gas for free, and Venezuela mustn't get nothing. Under the People's National Movement, the OPEC license with negotiation with Stuart Young, Dr. Rowley, and all the technical this and whatever, they came to an agreement where Venezuela would have gotten some money from this development with Dragon. No, all they want to take the people gas. All they love to thief people thing, all they eye long. All they love to thief people thing. All they want to go thief the people gas and don't get them nothing for it. And we must be comfortable in Trinidad and Tobago as a nation. People all pick sense out of nonsense. Pick sense out of nonsense. So let me come into the end here. It's 2 days a week now, so I go a little long and think to give all of that because it ain't had the Wednesday again and that. Let me get all of this. Let me play this.
In all my years as a clinical psychologist, and this is something that really does terrify me, I have never seen anyone ever get away with anything at all, even once. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think people get away with things all the time. I tell you, I've never seen it. What I see instead is that thing happens, right? Someone twists the fabric of reality, and they do it successfully because it doesn't snap back at them that moment. And then like 2 years later, something unravels. And they get walloped, and they think, oh my God, that's so unfair. And then we track it. It's like, well, what happened before that? This. Well, and then what? This. And then what? This. And then what? Oh, this. Oh, that's where it went wrong. It's, yeah, because you can't twist the fabric of reality without having it snap back. It doesn't work that way, and why would it? Because what are you going to do? Twist the fabric of reality? I don't think so.
And people again, my apologies for the dark spot. It's just that the video was narrow and I didn't want to be in it, so I just put a background. Why I play that? I'm talking about karma. Karma is an ancient Indian concept meaning action or deed that describes a universal principle of cause and effect. It suggests that a person's intentional action, words, and thoughts influence their future. Good actions lead to positive consequences, while bad actions lead to negative ones, potentially affecting future lives in tradition in Hinduism and Buddhism. Core principles, cause and effect. Every action creates a reaction. The consequences of one action are a direct result of those actions, much like a seed growing into a plant. Intent and morality. Karma is not just about the action itself, but also the intent behind it. Positive intention and deed leads to good karma, while negative ones create bad karma. Cycle of rebirth. In many Indian religions, karma is tied to the cycle of reincarnation or samsara. The karma from past life influence one's current life, and current action will shape future lives. Individual responsibility. The doctrine of karma makes individuals responsible for their own lives and consequences they experience. Types of karma as described in some tradition. It has sanchita karma, the accumulation of all past karma that is carried into a new life. Then it have parabha karma, the portion of past karma whose effects are being experienced in current life, and ajami karma or karyanyamana karma, the karma being created by one's action in present moment. I want to ask Kamala Pasandi Sessa, which one of the karma she experienced? And because karma, I'll tell you why. Oh, and it is alleged that the little boy, that it was a legend, some Christian boy who should live next door, and he and his wife was something, and they buy some property. I think when Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, Honorable Fitzgerald Hines was the Minister of Finance, he talked about them property and Christian and all that. It is alleged that that is she personal advisor. So let me continue with karma. Karma is really a BITCH. Because Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, she and others in this country call him Oreo. They call him rapist, pedophile, all kind of nasty name they call Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley in Trinidad and Tobago. But the international world don't know nothing about that. They know him, as I said before, a scientist, a CARICOM man, a statesman, a man who was able to sit down with Ifrin Ali, the president of Guyana, speak about it too. All that we know. He went up to Howard University, received an honorary doctorate. He met Joe Biden, the president at the time, and the president was impressed with it. That we don't know. But in Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Pasabi says, who we call her drunk, all over the world, they know she's a drunk. All over the world, they're talking about she and nothing good about she. Posters all over, control kind of name like Karma. Karma is a BITCH. People will remember you in history as the drunk prime minister, stupid prime minister, who instead of staying neutral, supporting a sovereign country, going into our next sovereign country to depose somebody and standing up and saying, kill drug traffickers and narcotic traffickers, kill them violently, when there's no law in this country, no law internationally that says that drug traffickers should be committed to kill them, and all that is about making jail. You will remember for that karma in your backside. You're drunk. It's not me saying so. All over the world are saying that karma, but they're not talking them thing only talking Trinidad about Dr. Rowley. They ain't talking that nowhere in the world. That is a Trinidad thing, but your name, your ancestors will shame to tell people that was related to you, Kamla Pasadi sister. I don't know if it's because it is alleged you have no children. I don't know if it's because you feel empty in your life, that you have no love in your life, that you feel worthless in your life, that your ancestry been coming from a Dalit, if that giving you issues. I don't know if it's your medical condition. I don't know if it's the drinking, the smoking that is alleged that how you so, but your looks and sound like a hateful, evil, empty woman. You don't even care about the future, the little children. You just want to go around and play your hugging up. You don't care about them, not with your action. So it's karma in your backside. Because when the People's National Movement had the SOE, This is what you say. This was in the Guardian, 2024. Kamala SOE declaration of shameless political gimmickry. Opposition leader. She was an opposition leader at that time. I called a state of emergency SOE January 2024, and I correctly predicted that failure to do so would result in a most murderous year. I was strongly condemned by the Prime Minister and his political and business community and supporters. Many say lies could have been and all kind of shit talk, and then say it's a shameless political gimmickry. But listen to Kamala here. Listen to she talking about a SOE under the PNM. Listen to she.
For nearly 10 years in governance, the PNM has held its hand up until now on signing off on a state of emergency in response to the country's climbing crime rate fueled by gang activities and illegal firearms. But opposition leader Kamala Bissau-Bissessar said had the Dr. Keith Rowley-led administration heeded her earlier calls for the policy, lives could have been saved.
I'm not of the view that this SOE was called because of any genuine concern for safety of citizens, but it seems like an act of political gimmickry to be used as propaganda for upcoming elections.
Bissau-Bissessar also slammed Dr. Rowley for failing to break the news of the development to the population.
625 persons murdered, and he did not have the courage to address the nation.
She said she was cautiously optimistic of the impact of the SOE.
Any life that can be saved, I think our country will be very happy for that. But I can't see anything much happening. We still have the same Commissioner of Police in charge, who is always disappointed. There are no new plans or strategies apart from this SOE. And again, I come to the part when it expires, which it must. What happens?
Political leader of the National Transformation Alliance, Gary Griffith, labelled government's state of emergency as both hypocritical and ineffective. Griffith, a former National Security Minister and Commissioner of Police, explained that an SOE is not a crime-fighting tool and only offers temporary reprieve.
We have reached a point of the knee-jerk approach where the government has reached a situation where they do not know what to do. And this is, but what is hypocritical, this is the same government that when the People's Partnership did the same thing in 2011, Fitzgerald Hines and others slammed the then government for doing exactly what they're doing now.
Chairman of Hope, Steve Alvarez, further questioned how government's latest move can alter the strategy for combating crime. Among the party's queries was the aspect of policing that would now be different under the SOE that could not have been done before. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Congress of the People, Lonsdale Williams, said while the move was drastic and unnecessary, strong leadership is needed to ensure its effectiveness. As such, Williams said Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley needed to spearhead the latest effort. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
You see what they nasty? But Kamala Bissau-Bissessar, SOE is not a crime plan. And what next? And what next? Since she come into office April 23 under SOE, and they're going back to Parliament and they have the numbers to extend the SOE. These people is lying, dangerous, dirty, stinking people, boy. The PNM in 10 years had two SOE, one for COVID-19, and then one January, they say wherever it is, all this all kind of thing. But since you come into office, you had this country under SOE, so that your crime plan, or the wicked and sting boy, we got Griffith and them saying about that, where all the people was complaining about PNM having an SOE in January. That is not crime plan, and care wherever it is. We all them out now. Since this government coming, we under SOE and they're going back for extension. Boy, Karma is a real BITCH, you know. Only wicked to the generation in this country, boy. Only saying nothing for PNM. They do that. The whole place mash up. But only have nothing to say. We in a SOE that suspend all the constitutional rights and they're going for extension and they have the numbers where they could get it. Till the SOE going to next year again. So is the crime plan? Like the crime plan, only have nothing to say. They're talking about 2011. That was say she's a racist. Because in 2011, when they had the SOE, don't they lock up African people, children, and they still lock them up. You go get things to charge them with after. And the same person who said that, when them come out of office, The same people that lock up, he went and support them and they sue the state for money. With the same law they make lock them up. We go find things to charge them after. Only all we African children around the east-west corridor was locked up. And I see the pundit from Aranguez who say that is urban youth from the east-west corridor. We know him in African youth who targeted Indians in Aranguez and surrounding. And the police said there is no evidence of that. He come back talking again. And making it look from what I read. And I said, me even want to read that because he's so racist. But nobody want nothing to say because he's a respected pundit. I don't know where they're going with this racism thing. All of we have to live here. All they're not better than African people. I don't know why all you feel all they're better than African people. All the ancestors who come in 1845 was done it. They was not considered a part of the forefathers in India because of the inhumane caste system. They used to clean the street of filth, clean cesspit with their hand, digging garbage for food. They couldn't go in no temple. There wasn't no teacher, no engineer, nothing. They were the untouchables of India. Go and read history, not me say so. It's them come here. And I'm happy they come here because they get the opportunity to do well. But they operate as if they're better than nobody else. And they're better than African people. We can trace our history and we come from kings and queens. That is a fact. The Ashantini king come down here. He owned private jet with gold as if it's like it's normal if it's the gold, all of them. We see it for ourselves. We know we ancestry, but some of the African too lazy to learn about it. Or they only want to focus on enslavement. We were before enslavement. We come from dynasty. We come from the center of learning and medicine and physics and chemistry. Maths. Up to now they can't decipher how we build the pyramids and them they want to say the aliens. That's where we come from. No, they blasted history and stand firm. We're not better than nobody and nobody better than we. So this race thing they want to be pushing and the UNC seem to be famous for that. We just how we let us squabble, we know that. But the UNC seem to perpetuate this racism as if they're better than me. Come down for some business and the UNC are not better than African people in this country. Or they're not better than Syrian people, Chinese people, Caucasian people. All are we born equal. We just say inequity. All are we born equal. All they know all their self, you know. Know all their self and all their history, you know. Me a business who call me a racist, you know. Because I'm proud of my race, I'm proud of myself, and I love myself, and I will stand shoulder to shoulder with an Indian person, a Chinese person, a Syrian person, a white person, and I don't feel like less than them, you know. I watching them in the face because we have to build Trinidad and Tobago, you know. I don't know about all you know. Me afraid to stand next to no Indian person, you know, no Chinese, nothing, you know. I don't feel inferior, you know. As a proud African woman, I talk in truth. And if you know truth, you will have a problem with me. I'm proud to be black. Despite that the African community have challenges, I'm proud to be black. But I can work and live with everybody else. Because I love myself. So if you love yourself, you can love anybody else. I don't know about all you. So you want to call me racist, or you're free to call me racist. I don't give a shit. I want to tell all who love being on Love You Talk the Ting Facebook page on Facebook. Thank you all for the support. I'm seeing some names here: Sarah, Rena, Melka, Emmeline, Vernie. I'm not able to see. Right, okay, so I'm saying Alison, Bolty, Joan, Simone, Philo, Shireen, Augusto, Kenneth, Jillian, Keith, Angela, Cynthia, Gloria, Lily Lazara Green, Angela, Joseph, Richards, Margaret, Joyce, Sweet Berries. Let me see if I miss any. Christopher Coffey, Joyce Joseph, Constant Hercules, Charles Priest, the whole family from Pune, Alison Boyce, Joycelyn Small White, Sharon R. Williams, Kerry Eghel, Melka Rock, and Rosalind Norton. All those who are logged on and I didn't call again on Let Me Talk the Ting Facebook page. Thank you all so much for the support always. Thank you all for always tuning in and logging in. And you're just going to get truth from me. If I say something and it's wrong, I get the information, I will come and correct it. I have no problems doing those things. I'm not afraid of those things, right? Let me see all who I have here. So Attila. So I'm looking now those who are on Bombs Up. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for accepting me in this space. MH37, Eric, Brenda Smart, Anon, Patty, Donna, Jimmy, Brenda, Godzilla, Brian, again, everybody, Leon, Karen, Fields, Spooner, Lloyd. I don't know if Dr. Lloyd Strick also is there, Carol Thompson. Everybody love you all. Thank you all for the support. The Mr. I met by Massey's stores today. Thanks for the support and a friend all out in Miami, all up in the thing. I want to thank you all for giving us support and people. Again, the days have changed for Let Me Talk the Thing. Is Tuesdays and Fridays 6:30. I have some other new little features will come in and that kind of thing. And I want you all to have a blessed weekend. Stay blessed, stay positive. Let us feed positivity. Let's send positive vibes. Let's stop talking the negative so much. Let us focus on the Caribbean as a space of peace, a zone of peace. Let us focus on our brothers and sisters in Jamaica, Cuba, and I heard the Prime Minister of Barbados mention some other countries who may have gotten also the brunt to some extent of Hurricane Melissa. Let us keep them in our prayer. Let us help in any way that we can. We are loving people. We are Caribbean people. We are people who come together when the time is needed. We are a zone of peace. Do not let Kamala Prasad be set on the UNC. Change that first. They are like them on their own mission. I don't know where they're drinking, where they're eating, where they're smoking, where they're talking, but they're moving as if they are not Trinidad and Tobago citizens. They're moving as though they're not from the Caribbean, like them as Americans. If all they want to be Trump and so, go live in America and live we in peace. We want peace. We don't want no war. Even President Maduro talking about we want peace. Let me start. We want issues in we own way. We have the courts. We have diplomacy. We have all these things to use, mediation, negotiation. Let us use that. Why only want here to be in a war zone? That we children have no future. Come up and start business. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, Sean Sobers? What is wrong with all you? What is wrong with all your power and position and promises and making all your Sean Sobers, you don't have children? Kamala, you don't have nieces and nephews? When America do what they do, when they go back, it's we left here. We left here. 1.5 million and we left here to have to deal with migration because the whole place turned off. We have to deal with the economy gone, investors gone, tourism gone. That's what they want. All is animal, all is beast. What God all is serving, all they can't be serving the true living God. So I want to send out positivity, all to change all their mind, change all their dirty thinking, and think about love and harmony and peace for this region. People have a blessed weekend. I love you all. See you all back on Tuesday. God's spare. When you girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny, if you want to get formal, Miss Jennifer Frederick, come back with another edition, another episode of Let Me Talk the Thing Unfiltered. Love you all. Thank you all for the support. Always. Bless.
and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Round the corner posing, that's what life is something they say. And if you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a run. The Yankees on a sparrow take over now. Well, the girls in town feeling bad. No more Yankees in Trinidad. They're gonna close down the base for good. Left those out to make out how they could. Hey, brothers, now they pop up in town. In for a penny and in for a pound. Believe me, it's competition. So, traveling the town when the price drop up. So many bunks of Jean and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Round the corner posing, that's the life is something they're telling. And if you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a run. The Yankees on a sparrow take over. Gina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Round the corner posing, that's what life is something they're selling. And if you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a run. The Yankees on a sparrow take over. Things bad to hear them cry. Not a sailor in town, the nightclubs cry. Only West Indians like me or you go in to get a drink or two. Brother, as we have things back in control, I seek a revenge in the heart and soul. When I spread this news around, it's to see how the cavemen come to town. Just to meet Miss Jean and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Round the corner posing, but your life is something they're selling. And if you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a wrong. The Yankees gonna sparrow take over. Gina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Round the corner posing, bet your life is something they're selling. And if you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a wrong. The Yankees gonna sparrow take over now. It's the glamour boys again. We are going to rule for the Spain. No more Yankee to spoil the fest. Dorothy had to take where she get. But again, who used to make style? Taking 2 shillings with a smile. No more hotel to rest your head. By the shot of light down, thou shalt bread. Mama, you will Gina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina. Round the corner posing, best in life is something they're selling. And if you catch them broke, you can get them all for nothing. Don't make a wrong. The Yankees on a sparrow take over. Gina and Dinah, Rosita and Clementina.